Hello, I'm Dan Alexander. Thanks for joining me again for one of my video escapades here. I appreciate it. This evening, I'd like to talk to you about uh, Calrec PQ14 and 15 modules. These modules were found in the J series portable consoles that were, as far as I know, designed for or by the BBC, outside broadcast division. Uh, the J series consisted of a bunch of 8 channel input buckets and a master bucket and rev return and send bucket. So there were 3 components, and you could add as many 8 channel input sections as you wanted, 16, 24, 32, or whatever. I was told at some point that the BBC had 125 of those J series buckets. So, but the J series is a whole nother subject, and they're incredible. But I want to restrict this to just these 2 input modules. Now, the here we have this is a PQ14. Let's see if I can get that so you can see it. And this is a PQ15. Now, you may note, and you can see pretty easily, that the difference is that the high frequency and the low frequency on the PQ14 is, which is this one here, is more restricted, more limited than that on the PQ15, here, the selectable high end and the selectable low end. And also, this has a high end low pass filter, and this has only a high pass filter. So these modules, which each contain a solder input transformer, were made up of electronics that resemble these little boards. And you can see on these little boards that there's transistors and capacitors and resistors and things like that. And there's no ICs on these boards. Okay, so in fact, and I just discovered this, these 2 modules, the motherboard, the main circuit card, is the same printed circuit card. They're both the same. Uh, um, Obviously, the switches and so there's concentric switches instead of just pots, and there's some more electronic components filling out the board on one than on the other. Now, what do we get on here? Oops, let's put it this way. What do we get on here? Well, we have a mic or a line switch with a trim. That's what that is. The concentric thing in the middle is a trim. And then this switch here, the red switch is the phantom power, on and off. And the one next to it is phase reverse. Handy things to have on input modules. Uh, then we have our three-band EQ, and then we have these switches, the mystery switches down here, labeled RSA and cancel. Well, folks, RSA and cancel is EQ in and EQ out. All right, and then we have our high and our low pass filter. This one's the PQ15, the more comprehensive of the two. And how comprehensive is it? Well, on the low filter, we have 45, 100, and 220. The high filter, we have 10K, 7K, and 5K. The low EQ, which is a shelving EQ, we have plus or minus at 160, 160, or 35 cycles. And that was suave. In the mids, which is peaking, we have 6.8, 3.6, 2.4, 1.2, and 700 hertz. And in the highs, we have 5K, 7K, 10K, and 16K. That's a lot of EQ. And it's, I have to tell you, great sounding. Really, really great. So in the PQ 14, in the PQ14, the only difference is that the high frequency is fixed shelf at 10K, and the low frequency, this is the EQ in and out on this module, and over here, this button selects 60 or 160 for the low frequency plus or minus EQ. And the low filter is 20, 45, 100, and 220. So what do these things sound like? They sound mighty good, I'll tell you that. They sound like a discrete Neve and an API had a baby. They got a nice, solid, in your face, punchy low frequency thing. And they have a real nice, fast, snappy, open high end. They're definitely not closed down, they're fast sounding. And there's nothing they don't sound great on. There's no two ways about it. So, the other thing about it is that because they're not a Neve module, and I don't know if you've looked lately. Let's see, what's the date today? Today is June of 2021, and discrete Neve modules are selling for $9 or $10 or $11 or $12,000 a piece, folks. Well, you cannot put this next to a Neve module and come away saying, oh, the Neve is a lot better, because that ain't where it's at. They sound different, but the Calrec stuff is right up there. No excuses. They sound fantastic. So the thing is that the price, when you can find them, and the Calrec modules are far, far scarcer than the equivalent Neve module. Far scarcer. But when you can find them, they're selling for a third of what the equivalent Neve module would sell for. You wouldn't be disappointed. Trust me. You put this on a kick drum or an electric guitar, anything. There's nothing that this ain't going to sound great on. All right, that's all I have to say about that. Okay. So it's been a beautiful experience. And um, if you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And like that there. So stay safe out there, get vaccinated.